What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. Real quick, I just want to dig into this. You know, when I look at the big four, okay, everybody used to say the big three, but we have to say the big four, okay? And the big four is not a guy that was in a heavyweight title picture at all at one point, for the most part, and that's Alexander Usyk. Now, I think Alexander Usyk is a solid boxer. I feel like he could hold his own. If you put him in any era of time of boxing, I do think that he would have been able to do some good things. But there's several guys that I don't see Usyk beating. Now, it's irrelevant. We don't know that what would actually have happened. But one thing I will say, and I don't do bias. I go by what I feel when I watch. Like, I see things. I really examine things and I really study things to where it's even if I want a particular guy to win, you all already know. It don't matter which fighter. If I like this fighter as a fighter more than this one, I'm not gonna lie or be biased. I'm going to say the truth, okay? And for me, I respect Usyk because Usyk just comes to fight. Okay, Usyk, I've never known him to back out of fights. I've never known him to run away from fights. And he's smart. He's sharp. But I just don't see Usyk still the way that a lot of people see Usyk. No different from how people was telling us Usyk was too small for Fury. Fury's too big, too long, too rangy, and just too smart. And it's a story of a big little man versus a good little man. And Fury's this and that. He's an all-time great. And basically, I told you guys the same fucking thing. I don't see Fury the same way that everybody else did. I picked Usyk to win, and I said plain and simply, the only thing Fury will have on his side is if he can stay back and keep Usyk off of him. And if he wins, he's going to have to win in a very boring fight. People don't seem to understand this about Fury. Fury is not what people say. And it took Usyk to beat him, not once but twice, for people to go, I don't understand how Fury lost. Like, his range, his height, and I've been telling you guys, these fighters don't understand the basic fundamentals. Usyk, I'm going to just sum him up like this. Usyk is undoubtedly the best heavyweight boxer of this era. And until someone beats him, that's just the way it is. And he beat Anthony Joshua twice. Let me break them down, starting with Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is good. He's not great. Tyson Fury, 6'9", 270-something pounds, long reach. Imagine Muhammad Ali with that reach. Now, without that reach, I still put Ali over all. But imagine Lennox Lewis with that height and reach. Imagine Larry Holmes with that height and, man, that would have been like scary for people. This is my point. The dude is 6'9". He doesn't know how to fight a disciplined fight, use his reach, stay outside, come in when he needs to against guys who are worth a shit. All of this talk that people hyped him up because of Deontay, and I keep telling you guys, Deontay Wilder can't box for shit. That's exactly why Fury was able to fight Wilder that way. And you haven't seen him fight anybody that same way he fought Wilder since Wilder. Yet, Wilder's the biggest puncher, right? So for all of the people that want to see something a certain way, it's hard for you guys to understand it because you want to say Fury's the best. You wanted to be able to say that so bad. You believed it, you claimed it, you called it, and he lost. And both times, he really won the fight. Well, this is what happens when you don't knock a guy out. And okay, he didn't do more like he said he was going to do. He tried to a little bit earlier, though, just to be a little bit more active. And I told you guys, this big, fat, jelly-old motherfucker can't box and move the way he's telling you. He's not going to be able to sustain that all night long. No different from when Wilder fought him. What did Wilder do in the third fight? Wilder just tried to throw the jab a little bit more, try to be a little bit easier, try to throw a little bit early. And I told you guys, Y'all keep talking about, oh, Wilder's an anomaly. This guy doesn't get tired. Fury doesn't get tired. I'm like, bro, look at the punch output. Look at what's happening in these fights. All the biggest thing between Wilder and Fury was, plain and simply, low punch output and a high expectation of what happens when he catches Fury clean. Bottom line, all 3 fights, it was there. What happens when he catches him clean? And he was able to knock Fury down 4 times out of the 3 fights. And only in 2 of the fights did he knock him down. But bottom line, and I told you guys, man, it's a difference when you fight somebody that's determined to get back up and fight back. So when people say, I don't know how he got up. I don't know how he was. Yeah, it's because you guys done forgot what real boxers are like. Real warriors are like. Anybody can say, I'm a warrior, I'm a dog. Anybody can say that shit. So Fury does not use his physical gifts properly. I don't want to hear this shit about him being old. Shit, he's younger than Wilder. He's younger than Usyk. So you can't come with the old bullshit. All right? Fury doesn't fight the way he's supposed to fight for his size. It worked against other opponents, but this is my point. When you can't figure something out, even for him to lose the way he did against Usyk the first fight, he made fought the same exact fight in the rematch. Same exact thing. Like I said, he wasn't able to do anything different. Anthony Joshua, he's good but not consistent. See, that's the thing. He has the skills. Why people were so frustrated with him? Because it's like, AJ, why did you just stop doing what you used to do? Anthony Joshua has what it takes to win physically. Mentally, it's too easy to derail AJ. And you going in here with guys like, take a guy like Ike Ibuchi, David Tua, man, Tony Tucker. They, man, listen, guys that was never even champion, in my opinion, would beat these dudes. They just don't have it inside, man. That extra mile to just go. No, getting knocked down doesn't mean you was getting battered all night long. You understand what I'm saying? And when I look at their lack of skill, I look and I say, nah, man, these guys. I told you guys, even when I really was like when AJ was even at his best, I'm like, we were waiting for him to come in the top form, and this is my point. It's like these guys peak early and don't really improve. So for the fighters that do, it's like you see things and okay, yeah, he's good, but me, I'm not talking about so much of a gut feeling, man. It's one of these things you just okay, nah. AJ, it's like depending on what AJ shows up, right? AJ can go in there and do some damage. But at the same time, AJ's not consistent enough, man. You can't sit here and choke in the big fights. You just can't do that. Because like I said, that means you were good enough at your best to beat these guys. But you couldn't beat this guy and this. So, bottom line. And he's the youngest out of all of them. So, AJ, no. Him neither. I told you guys this before. Deontay Wilder, average and protected. Bottom line. When Wilder steps up and start to fight better competition, you're going to watch him struggle. And you're going to see it. There's no way. Even the way Tyson Fury was leaping in, lunging in with the same repetitive shit, stick the jab out, try to hook his fucking hand behind Wilder's head and club him with the right. And Wilder just couldn't figure this shit out. His cornerman couldn't figure this shit, and nothing. And then they come with the excuse about how small he is. Well, Wilder's not that big. He came in under. Well, whose fucking problem is that? You knew what the physical differences was. Bottom line. Randall, what's his name? What's the Cunningham guy? Cunningham dropped Fury. He's not as tall as Wilder, not as big as Wilder, right? Okay, so why was he able to do it? Right? The same way he was able to drop him, but he wasn't getting dominated until after he dropped Fury and started getting tired. And Fury, he's fighting the smaller guy back, and he won. But this is what I'm saying to you. Great fighters know how to adjust to great fighters. That's why when you rank fighters and you look and say, all right, man, these dudes beat certain dudes. But when they got to the very best dudes, they can't. That's why when you see guys who share wins back and forth and stuff with each other and all that, see, at the end of the day, man, it's one thing to think that you're great and say what you would do. It's one thing for the fans, for the spectators to say it, but then all of a sudden when the time comes, you choke. Now, all of them are sporting losses. All of them. And so many of you swore Fury was going to retire undefeated. There was nobody that could touch him. And bottom line, Wilder was never as good as people said. Wilder was protected and was put in the right fights. So bottom line, I think Usyk is the best heavyweight of this era. And in terms of all-time greats, as much as I respect Usyk, I mean, I'm not gonna say he wouldn't be able to be competitive in some of them in fights with, but nah, man. You know, when I look at the flaws Usyk make, when I look at the flaws that all of them make, it's a difference when you don't have fighters good enough in your era to exploit these things. And the thing is, Usyk is clearly better than everybody else, and that's why he's able to exploit their weaknesses. So I give him that, and it's not to take anything from them. AJ, Fury, Wilder, for sure, not all-time greats. Usyk, the best of his era, but I don't even see him as an all-time great. And bottom line, you can't say you're better than somebody that you can't beat. So if you're an AJ fan, I don't care who you're a fan of. I like AJ more than I like the rest of them. Okay, Usyk included. But is he better than Usyk? Absolutely not. Is Fury better than Usyk? Absolutely not. Is Wilder better than Usyk? Absolutely not. And when you get to a point where people are trying to give you a reason to come back so they can put you in a title fight, even though you've lost 2 fights in a row, it just goes to show you they're used to your style and know, okay, Turkey's trying to do what everybody else is doing, and this is what he said he wouldn't do. He had a different vision. I don't care how much respect you have for a fighter. If a fighter can't get it done, then you reward the fighters that beat that guy. Bottom line, good, but not great. Usyk, I can give him a level of greatness because he beat everybody in his division. But there's levels to this shit. Clyde Drexler was a bad motherfucker, but he wasn't Michael Jordan. Kobe a bad motherfucker, he ain't Michael Jordan. LeBron is a bad motherfucker, but he ain't Michael Jordan. And there's certain people that if you took Mike and took LeBron, took a Kobe, took a Bird, took a Magic, you know, took a Drexler, a Dominique, you could sit here and build a dream team. Then you could take a whole lot of other fighters, basketball players, and say, yo, that's a bad dude, but they still not on the level of those guys that I just named. It's just as simple as that. So when you play for stats and you put yourself in a position of, oh, but I scored this many points, not how many rings y'all got? None. How many championships y'all won? None. How many times y'all made it to the finals? None. Okay, then sit the fuck down. Bottom line.